Welcome back to Top 10 Magazine. I'm Tom, and in this video, we're going to explore the top 10 unsolved disappearances in history. These cases have baffled investigators and fascinated the public for years. Number 1. Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart was an American aviator and author who was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. On July 2, 1937, Earhart and her navigator Fred Noonan disappeared while attempting to fly around the world. They were last seen flying over the Pacific Ocean, and despite an extensive search effort by the U.S. Navy and Coast Guard, no wreckage or remains were ever found. Theories about what happened to Earhart and Noonan range from crashing into the ocean to being captured by the Japanese military. Despite many search efforts over the years, their disappearance remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in aviation history. Number 2. Jimmy Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa was an American labor union leader who served as the president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters from 1957 to 1971. In 1975, Hoffa disappeared from a Detroit-area restaurant where he was supposed to meet with two mobsters. He was declared legally dead in 1982, but his body has never been found. Over the years, there have been numerous theories about what happened to Hoffa, including that he was killed by the mob or that he faked his own death and went into hiding. However, despite numerous investigations and searches, his disappearance remains an unsolved mystery. Number 3. The Sodder Children. The Sodder Children were 5 siblings who disappeared on Christmas Eve in 1945 from their home in Fayetteville, West Virginia. A fire broke out in their home in the early hours of the morning, and their parents and 4 of their siblings were able to escape. However, despite an extensive search of the property, no trace of the missing children was found. The circumstances surrounding their disappearance were unusual and led to many theories about what had happened to them. Some speculated that the children had been kidnapped and taken away in a car, while others believed that they had died in the fire and their bodies had been destroyed. The Sodders themselves believed that their children had been taken and that the fire was started deliberately to cover up the crime. However, no evidence was ever found to support any of these theories, and the case remains unsolved to this day. Number 4. D.B. Cooper, in 1971. D.B. Cooper is the name given to an unidentified man who hijacked a Northwest Orient Airlines Boeing 727 aircraft on November 24, 1971, and extorted $200,000 in ransom before parachuting from the plane and disappearing without a trace. Despite an extensive manhunt and investigation, neither Cooper nor any of the ransom money has ever been found. The case remains one of the most famous and mysterious unsolved criminal investigations in American history, and numerous theories have been proposed about Cooper's true identity and fate, including that he died during the parachute jump, was killed during the search, or lived a long life under a false identity. Despite ongoing efforts by law enforcement and amateur investigators, the case remains unsolved. Number 5. Madeleine McCann, in 2007. Madeleine McCann was a 3-year-old British girl who disappeared on May 3, 2007, while on vacation with her family in Praia da Luz, Portugal. Her parents left her and her twin siblings sleeping in their hotel room while they dined at a nearby restaurant. When they returned, Madeleine was missing. Despite an international search and investigation, no trace of Madeleine has ever been found. The case has received extensive media coverage and remains one of the most high-profile missing person cases in recent history. Theories about what happened to Madeleine include that she was abducted by a stranger or that she died accidentally and her parents covered up the death. However, no concrete evidence has been found to support any theory, and the case remains unsolved.
Don't forget to like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to our channel for more top 10 videos like this one.
Number 6. The Beaumont Children, in 1966. The Beaumont Children were 3 siblings, Jane, aged 9, Arna, aged 7, and Grant, aged 4, who disappeared while on a beach outing in Adelaide, Australia, on January 26, 1966. The children were last seen playing on the beach and buying snacks from a kiosk. When they failed to return home, a massive search was launched, but no trace of them was found. The case became one of the most significant criminal investigations in Australian history and remains unsolved to this day. Several theories have been proposed about the Beaumont children's disappearance, including that they were abducted by a stranger, taken by someone known to them, or fell victim to a serial killer. Despite numerous leads and suspects over the years, no one has ever been charged with the children's disappearance, and their fate remains unknown. The case continues to receive significant media attention in Australia, and efforts to solve it continue. Number 7. The Springfield Three, in 1992. The Springfield Three refers to the disappearance of 3 women, Cheryl Levitt, her daughter Susie Streeter, and Susie's friend Stacy McCall, from their home in Springfield, Missouri, on June 7, 1992. The 3 women had been celebrating graduation with friends and were last seen in the early hours of the morning, returning to Cheryl's home. When friends and family arrived later that morning, the 3 women were gone, and their personal belongings, including purses, keys, and cars, were left behind. Despite an extensive investigation, no trace of the women has ever been found, and the case remains unsolved. Many theories have been proposed over the years, including that the women were abducted by someone they knew, or that they were taken by a stranger for reasons unknown. However, there has been no concrete evidence to support any theory. The case is still open, and authorities continue to investigate any leads that may come in. Number 8. The Boy in the Box, in 1957. The Boy in the Box is the name given to an unidentified child who was found dead in a cardboard box in a park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in February 1957. The child, believed to be between 4 and 6 years old, had been severely beaten and showed signs of malnourishment and neglect. Despite an extensive investigation, the boy was never identified, and no one has ever been charged in connection with his death. The case generated significant media attention at the time and led to a massive investigation involving thousands of leads and tips. However, none of the leads led to any significant breakthroughs in the case. Over the years, there have been numerous theories about the boy's identity and the circumstances surrounding his death. Some have suggested that he was the victim of child abuse or was a victim of human trafficking. Others have suggested that he was the illegitimate child of someone prominent or that he was a victim of a child pornography ring. However, despite the ongoing interest in the case, it remains one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries in American history. Number 9. The Villisca Axe Murders, in 1912. The Villisca Axe Murders is the name given to the unsolved murder case of 8 people, 6 members of the Moore family and 2 house guests, in Villisca, Iowa, in June 1912. The victims were bludgeoned to death with an axe while they slept in their beds. The killer, or killers, also covered the mirrors in the house and covered the victims' faces with cloth. Despite an extensive investigation, no one was ever charged with the murders, and the case remains unsolved. Several suspects were identified and interrogated over the years, but no evidence was ever found to link anyone to the crime. The case has since become the subject of numerous books, articles, and documentaries, and it continues to generate interest and speculation among true crime enthusiasts. Despite the passage of more than a century, the Villisca Axe Murders remain one of the most gruesome and mysterious unsolved crimes in American history. Number 10. The Yuba County Five, in 1978. The Yuba County Five refers to the mysterious disappearance of 5 young men in Yuba County, California, in February 1978. The 5 men, Jack Madruga, Bill Sterling, Jack Hewitt, Ted Weiher, and Gary Mathias, were all friends and had gone to a basketball game in Chico, California. On the way back, their car got stuck in the snow in a remote mountainous area. The men decided to abandon the car and start walking to find help. 4 of the men were found dead months later, and one, Gary Mathias, was never found. The circumstances surrounding the men's disappearance and deaths remain a mystery. The 4 bodies that were found had died from exposure, and some showed signs of malnutrition and dehydration. However, it was unclear why they had not returned to the car, where there were supplies and shelter. The 5th man, Gary Mathias, was never found, despite extensive searches. The case has been the subject of numerous investigations and theories over the years, including suggestions that the men may have been abducted or that they had become disoriented and lost in the wilderness. However, no concrete evidence has ever been found, and the case remains unsolved.
Want to see more top 10 videos like this one? Subscribe now and join our community.